Hey guys, what's up? Zach here with another all-day, everyday mobility tip video. This one's dedicated for 17.4, which is upon us. And man, is it a lot of posterior chain. So I got 4 pieces for you today. And think about this as preparation before going into a workout like this. Even regardless, if not a workout, maybe a day where you're doing a lot of pulling, whether it's from the floor for a deadlift or pull-ups in general. But really 2 things we're gonna focus on is your thoracic ability, so having your shoulders back and open and being able to stay in this position, and then also taking a look at some hip flexion along with your hamstrings as well, okay? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use kind of a little yoga-ish thing today, and we're gonna use a take on child's pose and use our breathing as a diagnostic tool. So we're gonna focus a lot on big breaths in and exhaling, and I want you guys to focus in on where you feel strains at while you're doing this, okay? So simple setup first. You're gonna have your big toes tucked in next to each other, okay? So your big toes are like they're kissing, all right? And then I want you guys today to tuck your knees in, okay? So we don't want our knees splaying out because we're working on this ability to fold over my hips. And then I want you to get really long, okay? So arms get extended overhead. I'm literally trying to bury my chest on top of my quads and getting into this position. And now what I want you to take note of in this position, okay, is where do you feel strain? Where do you feel pull? All right, I did 17.4 this morning, and I can tell right about mid-back and low back for me, I'm feeling a little bit of stiffness, okay? So what we're gonna do is allow the head to drape towards the floor, and then we're gonna take a big breath in. We're going to hold that breath. And then we're going to take a big exhale. And every time you exhale, I want you to get to the bottom of that breath. And continue to allow your hips to sit back. Sometimes I like to wiggle a little bit in between breaths to allow myself to settle. And I keep wanting my chest to just come over my quads and allowing myself to just kind of collapse into this shape. So then I go for another breath. Big exhale. And I can already feel a lot of tension coming out of my low back. From breath 1 to breath 2, I felt improvement, and also I was able to take in more air. So go for another rep. Hold. Settle on it, okay? So you're gonna repeat that pattern. Could be 5, could be 10 breaths, however much time you have before this workout. But the focus is on my inhales, I'm gonna take as much air as I possibly can in. On my exhales, I'm gonna try and get all the air out of my system, okay? So right off the bat then, just from 3 breaths for me, I feel like I'm opened a little bit better. Okay, part number 2, you're gonna need a peanut, okay? Just classic T-spine opener, okay? So we're starting from the base of the neck, gonna work down to the bottom of my rib cage, and take note, where did you feel the stiffness at? So then I take my peanut, I put it on in. I always love added weight on this one. So I'm gonna bring my 45-pound plate in, bring that on my chest, and then I'm going to start working. So I bridge my hips up, take a big breath in, hold, release that breath. I can tuck my chin, I can do some side to side, I can flex, I can extend, I can go arm overhead. Okay, I can touch all these different corners and find out where those spots were at and continue to work through them, okay? So that's part number 2. What I'd like you to do there, spend a good 2-3 minutes just working your way down your T-spine. So that's the base of your neck to the bottom of your rib cage, okay? So now we got the top half taken care of. We know there's gonna be a lot of pulling in this workout, a lot of deadlifting. So let's just do a little scrubbing of our low back, so our QL, all right? So lacrosse ball in hand. My plate's going rolling away. This could be a bench, box, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm gonna prop my feet up. I'm gonna take my ball. I'm gonna place it at the base of my rib cage, and then I'm gonna scrub out, okay? So I'm gonna allow my hips to twist and turn over, and I'm taking the ball from my spine and allowing it to just press through my low back out to the side, okay? I come on back towards my spine, I find a new spot. Now right here, I got something I can feel, okay? It's a little stiff, so I'm gonna take a big breath in. I'm gonna hold and try and contract on the ball. And then I'm gonna release and make another pass through there, a little swipe, okay? Same thing here. This is before the WOD, okay? So we don't wanna do a whole ton of deep tissue work. We just want a little massaging going on, a little soft tissue work just to kind of loosen things up before the workout. So think just 2 minutes per side there. Work from the bottom of your rib cage down to the top of your pelvis, okay? So you got 3 things now. You did some breathing in that child's pose position. You took care of your T-spine. You did your low back, a little scrubbing. Now let's go after those hamstrings, okay? So here's the setup on this. You're gonna need 2 bands. If you don't have 2 bands, 1 would do fine, but the second band is crucial, okay? So I take my first band, and I'm actually gonna put my leg through the band, and then around the hip. This is my distraction, okay? This is gonna allow me to keep my hand, the femur, the head of my femur back in the socket where it belongs. I take my other band, I'm gonna hook it around the middle of my foot. Now here's the key on this, okay? First things, I wanna take this leg, the top of my leg, my quad, and I wanna bring it in as far as I can to my chest, okay? Now, once I've run out of room, I'm gonna straighten out this lower leg. So I'm gonna try and lock out, and then come on back. I'm gonna lock out, come on back. Exhaling. As I lock out, I'm keeping this leg pulled in. This is the finisher for today before you hit this WOD. I want you guys to think about 30 to 40 lockouts on each side, okay? And don't be afraid to do some moving of this leg into some different positions and see if you can lock that out, okay? And that's very key, all right? So the hamstring just doesn't work in one stream. It's got multiple different areas it can work and lock out in. So we're gonna do the same here and play around from side to side, okay? So 30 to 40 reps on each leg. Man, and that should do you right and get you ready to deadlift and do a lot of hip flexion for 17.4. Hey, tune in tomorrow. I'm gonna have post 17.4 recovery, a lot of smashing on those areas that are gonna be pretty stiff tomorrow. See you guys.